Northwestern University confirms. Construction workers ignore these fatal warning signs. You wake up every morning with that constant ringing in your right ear. It started 3 years ago, well after you retired from construction. At first, you thought it was just fatigue. Today, the sound never stops. During breakfast, you need to turn up the TV volume to hear the news. Your wife complains that you talk too loud on the phone. When you're in places with many people talking, you simply give up trying to follow conversations. If this situation sounds familiar, you're not alone. And what I am about to reveal in the next few minutes can explain exactly why this is happening to you now, decades after leaving the construction site. Between 1965 and 1985, more than 2 million construction workers in the United States developed permanent hearing loss. Northwestern University documented that 89% of these men never received adequate hearing protection. But here's what nobody told you. The damage continues progressing even after you stop working. Dr. Raymond Carhart, known as the Father of Modern Audiology, spent 4 decades at Northwestern University studying exactly this. Between 1945 and 1975, he documented thousands of cases of workers who developed hearing problems, years after leaving noisy environments. His findings revealed something shocking. Prolonged exposure to noise above 85 decibels not only damages the ear immediately, but programs continuous deterioration that can last decades. Think about this. A jackhammer operates between 105 and 110 decibels. A pneumatic hammer reaches 115 decibels. If you worked with these tools for 10, 20, or 30 years, your ears absorbed the equivalent of standing next to a jet engine for hours every day. Dr. Carhart discovered that this exposure creates what he called a degenerative cascade, a process where hair cells in the inner ear continue dying gradually, even years after retirement. In his most detailed studies, published in the Journal of Speech and Hearing Research in 1968, Dr. Carhart followed 423 former construction workers for 15 years. What he found was alarming. 67% developed ear ringing between 5 and 10 years after leaving work. 42% lost more than 50% of hearing in at least one ear. And most disturbing, 83% never sought treatment because they assumed it was normal for someone their age. Let me tell you about James Morrison, a carpenter from Detroit who worked in construction for 35 years. He retired in 1993 at 62 with apparently normal hearing. 3 years later, he began noticing he needed to read people's lips to understand what they were saying. By 70, the ear ringing was so intense he couldn't sleep without a fan running to mask the sound. When he finally sought help, doctors discovered he had lost 80% of hearing in both ears. What shocked James most was learning this could have been prevented, or at least drastically reduced, if he had known the warning signs. Now, pay attention to these signs you might be ignoring. First, you feel that plugged ear sensation that comes and goes, especially in the morning. This isn't earwax. It's chronic inflammation of the inner ear tissues, a direct result of years of acoustic trauma. Second, you hear conversations but have difficulty understanding specific words, especially when there's background noise. This happens because industrial noise first damages mid-range frequencies, exactly where consonant sounds that give speech clarity are located. Third sign, you have episodes of dizziness or imbalance, especially when you stand up quickly. The inner ear controls your balance, and the same damage affecting your hearing also compromises your vestibular system. Fourth, you feel frequent headaches, especially in the temple area. This happens because your brain is working overtime to process sounds that reach your ears distorted. If you recognize 2 or more of these signs, you need to understand that your problem isn't just getting old. It's a specific medical condition called occupational sensorineural hearing loss, and it's progressing silently. Here is what makes this even more serious. Dr. Carhart discovered that former construction workers are 5 times more likely to develop early dementia. Why? Because when your brain doesn't receive clear auditory information, it starts to shut down certain neural areas. It's like a muscle that atrophies from lack of use. The longer you wait to act, the more irreversible this process becomes. Robert Chun, now 78, worked as a crane operator in Chicago for 40 years. He told me he always thought the constant ear ringing was part of the job. At 73, his wife convinced him to seek help when she noticed he was isolating himself, socially avoiding family gatherings, stopped going out with friends, became irritated when he couldn't follow conversations. The audiologist explained that Robert had lost 65% of his hearing, and the ringing was the result of damaged neurons trying to compensate for the loss. But here is the hopeful part of Robert S.'s story. He started a specific auditory rehabilitation protocol based on principles Dr. Carhart developed. In 6 months, although the physical hearing loss wasn't reversed, the ringing decreased by 80%. He returned to participating in family dinners, resumed his social activities, and for the first time in years, could sleep without medication. The protocol that helped Robert combines 3 validated scientific approaches. First, auditory neuroplasticity therapy, where the brain is retrained to process sounds more efficiently. Second, specific supplementation with compounds that protect and regenerate auditory nerve cells. Third, tinnitus control techniques that reprogram the neurological response to internal sounds. Dr. Carhart discovered that magnesium plays a crucial role in hearing protection. Workers exposed to intense noise consume magnesium at rates up to 400% above normal, because this mineral is essential for protecting inner ear hair cells against oxidative damage. When magnesium levels get low, which happens with 92% of former construction workers, the degenerative process accelerates dramatically. Subsequent studies confirmed that supplementation with chelated magnesium, combined with zinc and B-complex vitamins, can reduce tinnitus by up to 75% of cases when started in the early stages of auditory degeneration. Timing is critical. The sooner you intervene, the better your results. Additionally, Dr. Carhart identified that specific auditory stimulation exercises can literally wake up dormant neurons in the auditory cortex. These exercises, when done consistently for 20 minutes daily for 3 months, can significantly improve speech comprehension and reduce auditory fatigue. But let me be clear about something important. If you have sudden hearing loss, intense ear pain, or bloody discharge, you need immediate medical evaluation. These can be signs of conditions requiring urgent medical intervention. What I'm sharing here is for gradual hearing loss and chronic tinnitus related to occupational exposure. It's also fundamental to understand that not all cases respond the same way. Men who worked with welding or in environments with toxic chemicals may have more complex damage requiring specific approaches. Those who also have diabetes or hypertension need more careful monitoring, as these conditions can complicate auditory recovery. The reality is that you dedicated decades of your life building this country. You deserve to enjoy your retirement years with full quality of life. Don't let decades of noise exposure steal your ability to connect with the people you love. Dr. Carhart's research showed us it's never too late to take action, but the sooner you start, the better your results will be. Think about what it would be like to clearly hear conversations during family dinners again. Imagine being able to watch television at normal volume without bothering your wife. Visualize a full night's sleep without constant ear ringing. This isn't fantasy. It's a real possibility based on decades of serious scientific research. If you've made it this far, it's because you're ready to take control of your hearing health. Don't let another day pass ignoring the signals your body is sending. Your hearing is your connection to the world, to the people you love, to the life you built. Leave a comment below telling us how long you've been dealing with hearing problems. Your experience could help another worker going through the same situation. And if this video brought some clarity about what you're experiencing, Share it with other colleagues who also dedicated their lives to construction. Remember, you built your career brick by brick. Now it's time to rebuild your hearing, step by step. The knowledge is here. The science is proven. The only thing missing is your decision to act.